Warsash 2025. This was the first coastal open for the RS600s, and we had, I think, 13 boats turn up with a number of local boats as a new Warsash fleet forming, which was really cool to see. Now, as we launched, it was pretty bumpy. It was a little bit wavy. Obviously, as an inland sailor who I've done one coastal event, but it wasn't in a 600, so very different. I was a little bit like, ooh, not sure about this. But it gradually got better as we got a little bit further out into the Solent. Now, it all got a little bit dramasome for me because I didn't turn up to the event until about 1 hour and 10 minutes before this gun, which, as you can imagine, was not what I wanted. I thought I was going to miss the first start, but here I am, having a good start there by the committee boat, actually having a good race in the end, actually. Yeah, luckily the wonderful RS600 fleet came to the rescue. The minute I stopped the car, ropes were being untied on my boat, and before you knew it, within 10 minutes, my mast was up, the boom was on, my sail was even attached to the boom. All I had to do at this point was get changed and wheel my boat down to the beach. And luckily, I wasn't the last to launch in the end, so big thanks to the fleet for getting me out on the water. But I hadn't really had time to sort of, acclimatized to what was about to happen. I was all a bit frazzled, I was, a bit stressed, and so this first race was definitely not my finest performance. You'll see as we go along this beat, especially once I fast forward it in a second, you'll see I wasn't really keeping the boat super flat until we get to lap 3, and I sadly the camera died before we did race 4 that day because unfortunately it was way too windy on the Sunday, so we only did one race but only 3 boats went out. Fair play to them. I just didn't want to go out in the amount of chop there was, and it was gusting 25 up to 30, and I just thought, I know how this ends. You've seen some of the videos where I've been out in breeze like that on flat water. It just wasn't worth it. But yeah, the boat's just not quite flat here, and I'm just trapezing a little higher than maybe I should. This is because I've lost a fair bit of weight since April. I've been working really hard to get my weight down to that sort of optimal 85 kilos. At the time of this video, I was probably just sub 90. At the moment, at the recording of this, I am about 86 and nearly 87. So we're getting near to that 85. I should be there by the Nationals. That is the hope. But as you can see, I'm not used to trapezing lower to compensate for the fact that I don't weigh as much as I used to. But yeah, there's George ahead of us there. George showing us how to sail on the sea. A load of boats went a little bit further before they tacked out. Now, for context, should have probably said that earlier, but tide is going out, so we were tacking out to get into the channel, get the tide to take us out with us. Clearly me and George have gained by tacking basically as soon as we could, hence why we wanted to start by the committee boat, give us that opportunity to get out. But as you can see, I'm just able to cross boats, even though I'm not sailing particularly flat. What's up with that? I really wish I had race 4 because I was so trying to make sure Tim, who was in boat number 800, couldn't get past me. He was ahead of me off the start, but I was trapezing as flat as I possibly could, having my leg, I was stretching out as much as I could just to keep the boat a little bit flatter, and then just driving it through the waves, which again, just not really got a groove going on here with the waves in race number 1. And so when we get to the windward mark, George is ahead. Not surprised. Dude knows what he's doing. Tim's close on my tail, and there's a big bunch of them not far behind. So here we're getting up to the ley line. A lot of these guys, because they went further out and with the tide pumping as well, they overshot the ley line quite dramatically. And so it actually did pay to sort of come in a little bit like me and George did, just to sort of not overshoot it. Luckily, I've got the tacks. I felt pretty nailed with the tacks this weekend, so not too much of a problem. He says nearly dunking the rack in. But yeah, you can see I feel pretty good here. The windward mark is a black mark, and we were sharing with the 2s and 4s. The 4s were using the inner loop, I think, or the outer loop. I think the 2s were using the inner loop and 4s were using the outer loop. Never really saw the 4s. The 2s, on the other hand, were told to then come and do the outer loop to finish their final lap. So we'd often bump into the back markers as we were finishing our race 2. So, yeah, you'll see here, they're the 200s, but we're obviously going to go along on a reach now. And, yeah, off we go. Now, I must say, I've never sailed on the Solent before. My sailing experience is relatively limited to inland sailing. I loved it. It was really cool. There was lots of different challenges, lots of things to think about. And yeah, no, I'd love to do a bit more. I think potentially we could go back to Warsash next year. Maybe we'll see. Fingers crossed. If the locals will have us, that is. And it'd be great to see some of them at Mounts Bay at the Nationals in about 6 weeks' time. It's coming up pretty quick, actually, if you think about it. But yeah, this reach was exciting because I was able to surf a few of the waves. Every time I got hit by a few gusts, I could just bear away and surf down some waves. It was very cool. Epic photo taken about there as well, which I can't wait to get framed. So yeah, thanks to the photographer for getting some cracking shots. But yeah, at this point, I'm thinking, great, I'm in second place. I felt pretty good. I felt like I would probably have it under control after the amount of time I've had in the boat this year. I felt like I've really unlocked a new gear this year. I just feel a lot more comfortable on the boat. I think losing weight has helped. I can get wiring sooner. And yeah, I just feel I just have a lot more time to do things. Now, I'm still just being a little bit sort of reserved here because I don't want to accidentally throw it in or anything. George is on the run there ahead. Absolute masterclass from George. Now, if you have read the report on yachts and yachting, which I wrote, I would say and you'll see this because I have got videos from race 2. I've only got the start from race 3, unfortunately. But I definitely started to get the hang of the downwinds later on, where with the waves, if you could surf it and then soak it low, you could make so much ground. And so a lot of boats were obviously doing the classic angles you would do in a 600, but because it was windy-ish but not super windy, especially on the downwind side, it wasn't that windy. I was doing whatever I could to just go straight line. So able to make some big gains, and we'll see that. I think it's race 3 that happened, maybe race 2. It's been a while because this is in August and Warsash happened in June, and I apologise for the delay in getting this all sorted. But yeah, we're getting ourselves sorted, getting some good jives in there. Now Tim is right on my tail now. Tim has been doing something downwind. Clearly, I downwind in this race was not the one. Definitely feel like I'm going on the angles too far. Tim actually went really far left, which is weird because the tide was going to be hurting him there. But as you can see, he's managed to come in really nicely. I'm trying to stay out here in the sort of shallower area, but apparently not so much. I was talking to the locals after the racing that day, and they were like, yeah, there was a very clear point where the tide just doesn't really matter where you are. Obviously, they know where those points are. I didn't. So I was sort of making it up as I went along. Okay, here's Tim. So he's on the inside. There was a gate, so we didn't actually have to go. Well, we had to go around the left mark or the port mark, but we didn't have to go around the starboard one. So it wasn't a gate per se for us, but we had to go around the left side. So George has just jibed there. He's about to go through the gate. And then we were using the pin end of the start line as mark number 4 of the trapezoid before heading back upwind. And as you can see here, Tim's got the inside. He's going quicker than me. I'm just not looking at a good spot, really. Now he is overtaking boat. Well, he is for now. If he breaks the overlap, then I'm screwed. But so yeah, basically I've just got to see if I can keep this, because Tim can't luff me. He has to keep sailing the angle I'm sailing, and I'm thinking I want to go for a jibe. Obviously he's got control of the situation there. He jives a little bit better sooner than me, which just annoys me a little bit there, because he's able to get a little bit closer to the mark. Just helps him out just a little bit, just enough again to mess up my day. Not much I can do about that. So now he's on the inside. I don't actually read, because I was late and I missed the briefing, and I thought we were doing outer loop, but apparently we were doing trapezoid. So clearly didn't read the sailing instructions very well. What can you do? I was thinking I don't actually know where we're going, so I was just sort of watching to see what Tim did, and this is again where race 1 was just not my race. I mean, I got a fantastic result. I should be grateful, but I definitely could have been up closer to George if I knew what I was doing, knew where I was going, wasn't so nervous on the sail out with the big chop. But that's where practice and prep is important, which is why I'm looking forward to going to Stone in just over a week for the bank holiday regatta. Another bit of coastal practice. I can use it as a bit of an opportunity to get my head around tide a little bit more, because again, I've only done this event number 2 on the sea this year, and it's August. And event number 1 didn't really have any tide because it was at Royal Tour Bay, and we were only in the bay, so we never really had much tide to deal with, which I didn't realise, that the tide inside of the little cove bit is really non-existent, especially when you're sailing a faster boat. So yeah, I'm here in Tim's track. We're chugging out all the way to the channel again. Race 1, the tide was not going to switch, but it was going to switch sort of in race 2. So stay tuned for that video, because I think that video is a lot more interesting. And I make a fatal mistake, which costs me second place, but you'll get to see that in the video. So going past the gate for the 400s, I think they're going to start coming downwind. Now, the issue with the course was, because the Solent's the Solent, and I've always understood the Solent, but I've never really experienced it. There was just race courses everywhere, and so our race officer couldn't really move the course when the wind shifted a little bit later in the day. So it was just kind of a bit of a nightmare. If you look on the left, you can see George just to the left of me. I've got Tim straight ahead. Maybe I should have tacked out. I've basically just been sat in Tim's track the whole time, and it's really annoying because there's nothing I can do about it. You let me know. Do you think I'm getting affected by Tim in this position? Obviously, I've got a little bit more height than him. I am trapezing lower now, and as a result, the boat's flatter. I feel like I was steering to the waves a little bit better as well. But I just clearly wasn't keeping myself very flat. I'm watching this, and I'm like, come on, you can... This boat's not flat. I must say, I came away from this event, and I felt like there was a lot that I had learnt from this. I just felt like, okay, trapezing lower is quicker. I need to get better at it. I need to get more in the hang of hoiking myself higher on the trapeze before my tack, so that when I come, you'll see here, I'll hoik myself up, so that when I come back to that tack, the trapeze ring is actually in a useful location. Here we go. Go a little bit higher, and then I can go for the tack. And I'm doing a much better job of stepping through the boat rather than getting on my knees. It's helping my wetsuits as well. Wetsuits are lasting a lot longer because I'm not like doing a power slide from one side to the other. Yeah, very interesting. Now, I don't think I'm quite going to make the ley line here. I'm going to have to do another double tack. So Tim, I think, tacked a little bit earlier. But yeah, here I've just got to chug it out. And yeah, I'm just sort of taking it all in. There's a lot of sort of new things I'm not used to. Things I'm trying to interpret. Staring at the compass numbers, but I know that the tide is obviously pumping, and so I'm like, well, maybe a good shift, but the tide's obviously going to help me this way, so even if it's a bad shift, maybe it doesn't matter because the tide will cancel it out. Yeah, this is good. I should try and do some more sea sailing. Yeah, the 600 is thinking about what we're going to do next year, kind of pick some of the sort of bigger handicap events, I guess things like the Lord Burke. If we think about coastal, there's stuff like the Royal Lymington Regatta, that's what it's called, Lymington Regatta. I'm trying to think of what other ones there are. Obviously, there's Fed Week, Chichester Harbour Week, Torbay and like Paintant Single-Hander Open. There's a bunch of handicap opens there we could join in with. So, yeah, we'll have a little think about what events we want to do. If you're a 600 sailor, let me know what you would like to do as an open meeting. I'm thinking maybe some stuff in Wales potentially, like Bala could be good. So, yeah, do let us know if there's anything you'd fancy. We're open to suggestions. Filey Regatta is another one potentially on the list. Garda may be happening next year. Not a coastal venue, but I think we'll be all right. And I look back at the Garda footage and I look at how unflat my boat was and just how... I just look at it and I'm like, I sailed the boat so much better than I did then. To think if I was to do Garda now, how much more confident I'd be and how much faster I'd be. Yeah, there's Tim ahead of me tacking on the ley line. Oh, is that Tim? Yeah, that's Tim. And then you can see there's a bunch of boats who've trekked all the way out to the right who are just on the right-hand side there. I'm thinking, okay, I want to fight for Tim, get past him. We're doing 3 laps here, but these guys are not far behind, so I need to not get too carried away and let them pass too. So here we go, hooked myself on. And then that black mark you can see ahead is our windward mark. So I'm a little bit over the lay, but that's okay. Obviously, we want to make sure we're definitely getting past if there's any shifts. I've got the J70s just ahead of us there, so they're probably causing a bit of a dirty wind patch. So yeah, around the windward mark, we don't have to care about the spacer, but there are 200s in the way, and the spacer's low enough that it's not really a problem. So now it's just a case of sending it. I felt like I was sending it maybe a little bit better than Tim was this day, especially in the later races. I've done a lot of practice on the reaches after finding out that I was actually really slow at doing the reaches compared to other people. Specifically trying to bear away when you get hit by the gust, take the gust as long as possible, surf those waves. I could definitely maybe trapeze a little lower and just getting the bow up a little bit more. A lot of people in the 600s stick the bow in on the reaches, which is fine if it's light winds, but as soon as you're planing, get it up. You can definitely go a lot quicker if you can get the boat with minimal drag. So yeah, we're going in kind of nicely. Now all I've got to do here is get myself on the downwind. Again, it's going to pay to go right towards the shore, see what Tim's going to do. I'm looking behind me just to make sure that I'm not going to do anything too stupid. Make sure the boats behind can get past. Oh, this main sheet I had too, I'd only been using a little bit, so I was getting used to that and the length of it. It's good length, very good. A little bit longer. I know so many people have suggested to me, get a longer main sheet. I finally did it. It does get caught on the racks. Just a little bit of tidying can help that, but it's life-changing, to say the least. So, yeah, here we go. Tim's there, but oh, hang on a second. That is not looking too good for Tim. And that is the beauty of sailing the 600, is even when you feel like you've got it under control, it can still throw you in. So while, yes, I have managed to get myself past Tim, there's nothing saying I won't do the same thing in a minute. So I'm spending a lot of time trying to just pump the main a little bit on the waves and gusts, just get myself a little bit lower. There's a 200 that's just binned it as well. It was deceptively windy. It doesn't really look very windy, but there was a fair bit of breeze. So I'm just trying my hardest just to like get the boat going nicely, soak it really low where I can. You'll see every time I can get it planing, I'm sort of soaking it low and keeping the guys behind as well. I think I've got a comfortable gap there. So now I've just got to do the final beat. And then, yeah, you can see, I think George has gone out to the left-hand side. Is that George on the left there? Potentially. But I'm just kind of straight lining it, to be honest. So, yeah, very cool. I do like the Solent. We'll have to come back. Here we go. Now, the difference is obviously Mounts Bay is going to have much bigger waves, but they're going to be big, long, wide, rolling waves. So they're the sort of thing that you can obviously like think about, plan about. Not like the Solent waves where I was having to really like sort of constantly steer to them so the boat didn't just like slap them, right? Like chopping wood. And so, yeah, again, long time since I've sailed waves like that, and don't think I've ever really sailed waves like that in the 600. I guess, I don't know, Eastbourne didn't really have waves like that, but yeah, it's going to take some getting used to, but I'm looking forward to going. I'm going to get down there a couple of days early, see if I can get myself familiarised, see if I can get a better result than last year. I got 6th last year. All the people who raced ahead of me, maybe only 4 of the people ahead of me are coming, but yeah, we'll see if I can push a little bit harder, see if I can improve on what I did last year. I'm significantly lighter than last year. I think I was 97, 98 kilos as I went into the Nationals. I'm hopefully going to be 85 going in this year. So the lighter wind days, which was a lot of we had quite a few light wind races, I won't be so hampered by extra weight. So I've definitely noticed the light winds, I'm a lot quicker now. And in the heavy winds, I'm trapezing lower, which is taking some getting used to. Okay, we're on to the last lap now. Just got to send it all the way to the finish line. George is ahead. Now I've got no dirty air. I'm just going to take it all the way to the ley line, get myself out into that deeper tide sooner rather than later. Keeping an eye on what George is doing, see if he takes it in early, whether I should do something similar or not. Again, I'm just not sailing the boat very flat, and I just think I just wasn't quite in the groove. I should probably run a little bit more downhaul or something as well, just to depower the boat a bit more. Like, I'm clearly overpowered, and I'm just trying really hard to keep the power in the rig so I can use it, but it's not going to be very useful if I'm slightly heeled. So, we're getting there. Yeah, it's looking better as we go along. I'm getting more into the groove of like steering to the waves as well. It's all really nice to see. I am hoping to do some recording at Mounts Bay. I'm going to bring a little mic as well so we could do some interviews. So if you'd be interested in that, let me know. It should be a good event. We've got like 20 boats entered. It should be, yeah, really good fun. I'm looking forward to it. Here we go. So nearly at the ley line now. Once I get to the ley line, I think I end up tacking a little bit early actually. So I'm going to have to tack back, which is, it's one of those things. It's like, well, I'd rather not overstand it big time and let someone sail on the inside, because I did make some big gains in other races where I just tacked earlier than people and I could just sort of undercut them. Especially going when the tide switched and the tide was now hurting us and we're all going towards the beach on the left. A lot of people would overstand big time and we'd be reaching into the mark, and you could make huge gains just by tacking in the right place. Because like some of the locals said, going further didn't really help you. Once you were in that shallow bit, it was sort of you know, the tidal effect is not going to dramatically change the more you go, but you are now going to sail twice as much distance because of that. So another tack, here we go. I'm looking at seeing what George is doing, thinking, well, if George is gone, it's a good chance he's on the lay. And but obviously further out, the tide's going to help me, sort of nudge me up a little bit as well. So that's the other thing. It's like, well, it's hard to gauge where you don't do much tide sailing. Good job, me. So yeah, we'll keep sending it. See if we can how we can do here. George is obviously tacked back. I can see his sail there, so I'm thinking, damn it. And I'm catching up to the back of the 200. So now I've got 200 to sort of wiggle in and out of too. The perks of sharing event with other fleets. It's always the challenge, is now I'm looking at them thinking, okay, I'm going to duck these guys, but I want to tack before any of them tack. I'm faster than a 200 upwind quite dramatically. So it's like if I can go a bit further, tack, get past them, tack on top, then they can bear away for their spreader mark and get the kite up. Well, actually, so they're not doing their spreader mark. They're sailing with us all the way to the reach mark. So I'm going for the tack, get myself a little higher on the trapeze there. See, I'm going to be able to just about cross these guys. Not much in it. And then once I'm happy that I can definitely get around the mark, because I don't want to trust that I can sail the same angle as a 200 just to find out, well, I can't. So there we go, get my foot untangled. Now I've just, again, I need to make sure I don't repeat with, I want to make sure I don't repeat what Tim did in the last lap, right? I've got to take it around the reach, down the run, and then I've got to do one final reach to the finish and not mess it up. So here we are, around the windward mark. Felt like I was showing the 200s what proper sailing is, but they might argue that this isn't proper sailing because I haven't got a kite, so fair play. But yeah, here we go, sending it. It's an interesting reach because it was sort of hard to keep the boat flat because of the angle. I guess I should have tried trapezing a little lower and standing about where I am and not standing any further back. But some of the waves, you'd surf down them and you would be worried about nosediving into the next. And I'm also trying to make sure I can stay above the 200s, because as soon as I go below them, it'll be game over for me. They've got surprisingly large sails, to be honest. Just sort of fighting the boat there a little bit. Trying really hard just to get the boat. There we go. Just get the boat planing. Lovely. Nah, it's just really struggling to try and keep the height on here. I can't really stand any further forwards because I'll nosedive. Oh. But I will slip forwards. It's okay, 200s, don't mind me, just having a little mare. Just keeping the boats behind, which are also on the reach now. Thinking that could have been it, that could have been game over for me. Second place would turn into not second place. Here we go. Okay, we're getting into that spreader mark. Now the 200s luckily are heading downwind big time and point hoisting the kites. Now, one of these races I had a big issue with, this 200 was like, it might have been this one. The 200's like, well, we want to go this way. And I'm like, well, I want to go dead downwind. But then they end up just sort of getting stuck in some dirt. So here, just sending it downwind. Don't know what I'm doing with my hands there, but sending it downwind, having a good time. Sort of watching seeing where George is going. George is sort of playing it safe. I mean, George was doing much more angles than I was downwind, but I definitely felt like in the later races I was catching him up, where I was able to soak any opportunity I had to soak, because the wind definitely built as the day went on. By race 4, it was definitely pumping, and so it was a lot easier to sort of get it planing, surfing a little bit, and then sort of take the height a little bit and get it up again. So yeah, it's definitely. I really wish I had race 4 footage, but Insta360, you make cameras that have batteries that can last for 4 hours. I know that's a big ask because 4 hours is a long time. Okay, so I've jived off, just trying to check it out. The thing is, I found it was really light and horrible by the shore, and so I was just trying to stay out in the pressure, especially when other boats were going left a little bit, just to do something different. You don't want to get too separated from them and allow them past, because at least if they come up, I can do something to defend back. So here we are, just a few more jibes. Also just trying to watch out for 200s. I don't want to get stuck in dirt, because they're going to do different angles to me, and if I get stuck above one, then they're going to send me in the wrong direction. But as you can see, we're getting pretty close to the gate now. Just going to do one more jibe. I must say I felt like my jives were pretty clean. Very happy with how those were going. Thinking about doing another jibe, but I just know I need to go a little bit further because there's not quite enough pressure to soak down to it. Here we go. Beautiful. There we go. So now I just got to send it to the finish. Now I found this bottom reach quite difficult because it was kind of tight, kind of not. So it was difficult because it was like I kind of needed to trapeze, but I wasn't planing necessarily. So it was a bit of a sort of, it was just marginal planing, not quite getting it fully going. So like here it's sort of planing a little bit, but like not quite enough to like have me out on the rack. But as you can see, the main's pretty in. Oh, there's a few, it's sort of, there we go, a little bit of planing action, but again, it's very, very marginal, very marginal. Just trying to send it all the way to the finish line now. Although you can see the 200s are going along there. I'm thinking it doesn't really matter, it's not handicap racing, I just need to get to the finish. There are boats on the reach now as well, but I've just got enough of a buffer that it's all good. And I'm just trying to make sure I can keep the speed on, but I was just really struggling to get myself comfortable either standing against the centerboard case or on the gunnel. Yep, there we go. George is finished. Now I just got to finish behind him. And that is race number 1. I know not the most exciting thing in the world. Race 2 is a lot more exciting. Yeah, I lose second place to the last minute, and can I get it back? That is the question. So, yeah, let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe and like this video. It helps me out a bunch, and stay tuned for more.